Okay, there we go, good. And I swear I need like a second light just for her. You can kind of tell what she is on the camera though. Anyway. Let's see. So in some minor news, the emotes that Izu made for me the other day have been added on 7TV, Better, TTV, and Franker Face C. So now you can type, go to me sleep, and Jen hungry, Ron think, and God, what was the fourth one? Alice Point. And if you have the extensions, they will work. They will show up on stream as well. Mix It Up doesn't have support for 7TB, but it supports the other two. So it should generally be fine. So like I can see them here in the preview, so they should be there on the screen. So even if you don't have the plugins, you can just look at the stream, which you're probably doing here anyway, I would assume. So there, I got it set up. Oh, no, June, stay. Stay. Goodness God, if you leave now, I have to change the camera, otherwise it just becomes crotch cam. And that is very uncomfortable for everyone. Okay. So, resuming episode 5. Got almost 3 hours in last time, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I average like 2 hours. But I got kind of into it. Hopefully I can maintain that today. After dashing to her bedroom, Jessica answered the phone call that had been transferred there. Hello? Sorry to keep you waiting. Battler, what do you think you're doing not contacting us for 6 years? How's it going? Oh, really? How the hell do I know? Shut up. So that means you'll be coming to this year's family conference, right? I mean, it's been 6 whole years. I mean, hey, a lot of people open up streams just to watch them as like work background noise, and I totally get behind that. I try to do the same thing sometimes. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. You can't see it, but I'm making hand gestures. With my lack of Italian blood, I'm still doing it. 5 businessmen in expensive suits were visiting in the parlor, giving Kraus and Nazi a progress report on their business. Spread out on the table were the blueprints and designs for a building, as well as documents related to expenditures and the like. So packed that even a teacup would have gotten in the way. Officially, they were here to give Kraus a progress report. But in actuality, Kraus had called them all the way over to Rakenjima so that Nazi could hear from them directly. This was because Nazi needed to hear someone other than her husband explain what condition the business was in. In other words, even though another family conference without Kinzo was approaching, their business had not yet earned them any money. After telling the guest to wait for a short while, Kraus took Nazi out to the hall and once again summarized the situation. Not today, as far as I know. I don't think she's eaten anything she's not supposed to. Junie is the one who does that, though. She's the biggest cable biter in the house right now, to my knowledge. She's the only one I've caught, like, doing it in a while. I think Penny might do it too. But I don't know if she's ever actually bit through anything. Juniper's so precious. In short, they say the work is proceeding even better than we imagined. This is where my personal connection to the governor really starts to pay off. By now, it's absolutely impossible for this sketch to get away from us. To the contrary, it's growing so big that in one go, we'll be able to regain not just the power of attorney, but everything we've lost up to this point as well. Unless it's such a big catch that the line breaks. Natsui, I lost the money. Kraus spoke passionately. This made it seem all the more suspicious to Natsui. Good. But this time, at least, she had to admit that everything really did seem to be going well. Certainly, this business Kraus boasted of had expanded in scope over the last year. Scope creep? And was promising an even greater payoff than had been anticipated initially. Whether it would prove to be a winner or not, investors had gathered around it and they were rapidly gaining funds. This must be what they mean when they say money summons money. It was probably the greatest success of Kraus' life so far. No, it probably would be his greatest success yet. That point was where Nazi's misgivings lay. True, it was certain, and as Kraus had said, they wouldn't lose this sketch now. You can only Matt. You're good, honey. Day in and day out, I'm like picking through her fur like a monkey. I find little solid bits and I gotta help her get them apart. She complains if you try to like brush them out directly, so you usually gotta like get in there and like kind of rip them a little bit first. Like, find the solid chunks of hair and tear them apart and loosen them up, or... Cats are difficult, especially ragdolls like her. However, the fish on the line had gotten too big. What did I say? We'll definitely be able to reel this fish in. But can the boat hold it? There's no need to rush. Your inventory is too small, Kraus. You need to get inventory upgrades. You need a diamond backpack. It's such a success that I wish I could show it to Father if he were still alive. If you say that, it's going to ruin the magic. He is still alive. Yes, I know. However, I believe you made me a promise last year. You said you were sure you could manage something within a year. Is that any way to react to my coffee? I just coffee. A pained look rose to Kraus's face. They certainly had hooked a fat fish that guaranteed great success. However, it would require an appropriate amount of time to reel it in. Natsu pressed Kraus, asking if there was any way for them to make money before this year's family conference. But Kraus kept saying that he needed just one more year. Kraus planned to use this unprecedented success to catapult them into further challenges in the future. Forget the moon, forget Mars, or making colonies on Jupiter. And it's not even solid enough to do that. But we're gonna find a way. Because of this, he didn't want to do anything that would raise suspicions by making it seem like they were rushing to get money. Certainly, fortune tends to turn against people who take it for granted even at the slightest. Anxious beggars never prosper. On many occasions before now, Kraus had gotten cold feet and sold out businesses that would surely have brought in a profit had he just waited, and had, in effect, given away his winning picks. Natsu also knew this. She knew that guts were the thing her husband lacked most. That's why she wasn't able to refuse when Kraus said he wanted to prudently wait just one more year. You got belly mats too, but I'm not gonna go with those too much right now. Or I'm gonna make you mad, probably. Spread apart a little bit. What is this? What is this we have here? You see how solid this is? She can't get to those herself. Because she's fat. It's okay. How wonderful that things are going well. It would appear I'll have to sit around here as a ghost for a little longer. You don't look too disappointed. You're fated to be chewed to bits by demons the moment you leave this world. My apologies, Father. For one more year, you might not be granted peace. Sorry, she's big-boned. Or as the kids nowadays say, thick. It's fine. You're not, Natsuhi. I'm no longer the Ushimita family head. The ghost of the study should obediently follow the current head's commands. I've taken a look at Kraus's charts and they aren't bad at all. Even from your perspective, Father? They're pretty good even from my perspective. Everyone is confident in victory, gathering together a significant quantity of magical power. As a result, that victory is growing ever deeper, involving more and more people and magic beginning to create gold. A perfect embodiment of Scarlet Devil. Oh, you're a Toho fan too. If you've earned even the Golden Witch's approval, that is very reassuring. Rejoice, Natsuhi. This business of Kraus's will save the Ushimita family from its crisis without fail. Unfortunately, the audience my Umineko streams are not suited for is the type of people who just blindly listen and don't look at the screen, because they'll be very confused when I say things that are totally not what is on the screen. And I apologize to that very small subset of people. Thank you very much. And if you would once again... Indeed. We'll have to overcome one more family conference, won't we? Oh, I'm sure this one will be really easy. Yes, I think things went well last year, but I imagine some of the relatives will find it suspicious. I think this year's conference will be a critical time. During last year's family conference, you were correct to predict that the same thing might have to happen again. Even for those who aren't witches, preparing for the worst case scenario is one of the basics for getting on in this world. So what will you do this year? The same thing we do every year, Beatrice. Just like last year, I will see to it that a high concentration of the servants who know Father's secret are there on the day of the conference. Some of the relatives may already have noticed that Father isn't around. A careless show might actually put us in more danger of exposure. Indeed. It is said that too much is too He's as bad as too little. Then what will you do? Unlike last year, I think we'll go with a plan that has you staying inside your study until the end. That would be suitable. Barricades are straightforward and simple, a final trump card. No matter how strong the toxin fills this mansion, as long as the closed room barrier remains around this room, it'll be impossible to deny Kinzo's existence. I guarantee that myself. However, when forming a barricade, it is inevitable that you'll be surrounded. I know. Even so, I beg that both of you lend us your power just one more time. I cannot disobey the orders of the new head. Furthermore, a ghost cannot disobey the orders of the living. Since when? If you tell me to leave this room, I will obey. Thank you very much. I'm not satisfied. If you want me to lend you my power, I won't listen to a mere request. Yes, you are the family alchemist. So I won't ask you to help. I order you to help. Your magic is the one thing we can rely on. Use that power to create an illusion of father just one more time. Very well. I hear and obey. I find your confidence quite pleasing. From the shadows of the study, Battler watched the exchange between these three. Not a hold. So we made it to this year's family conference. Grandfather was in a bad mood, so he shut himself in his study and didn't appear in front of anyone. Natsu spoke boldly about how she would somehow overcome this year's crisis and protect the Ushimura family's honor until the end, while Kinzo praised her, saying that her plan looked promising. Beato also praised her, saying that Natsu's dignified confidence was even more well suited for the headship than Krause's. However, right now, the true number of people in this room was... The moment I thought that. No, just because I thought that, Beato grabbed at her chest and moaned. Please don't put it like that. Don't worry, this is still outside the game board. So, I won't deny you her grandfather over there. I put my hand on Beato's as she tried to hold back the pain deep inside her chest. I've already told Bernkastel. The 2-day period of the 1986 family conference is all I need to deny the illusion of the witch. In the last game, you said in red that grandfather's dead at the start time for all games. However, you never mentioned whether grandfather was alive or dead before the start time for the games. So let me rephrase that. Before the start time of the games. In short, even if grandfather exists in this place right now, that doesn't create any contradictions. It's true. My hand touching her let off a faint blue light, which seeped into her chest. That light tenderly wrapped itself around the splinters in Beato's chest. And I also can't deny the existence of the Beatrice in this place. The number of people in this island, outside the game board, in other words, before October 4th, 1986, has not been proclaimed in red. Therefore, there's nothing strange about Beatrice existing here. Beato's expression softened slightly. My blue light slowly began to melt the red splinters that denied the illusion of the witch. Beato still wore the same sad expression, but she lifted her face, and looked me straight in the eye. Though she was silent, her eyes told me that her pain had subsided. The feelings that showed in her eyes were gratitude for taking the pain away. And appreciation was a surprise for leaving even a tiny bit of leeway for witches to exist. Unable to look directly at those pure eyes of hers, I reflexively averted my gaze. Don't get the wrong idea. I don't plan on accepting the existence of witches or surrendering. I just want to let that part slide and fight stoically, so that I can win this game against you. I have no desire to bully you outside the game board as well. Beato hung her head. I was still facing away from her. However, we waited wordlessly for a while, my hand still in hers. By now, no one would believe that this sad-eyed woman was the same person as that prideful Beato. So, I asked once more. Even though I said it aloud, it wasn't a question to her. I was asking myself, just what in the world are you thinking? That's right. Even though this is lame, this game, I have to find you here. I have to find what you thought and what you were trying to do. Very soon, this game will also reach October 4th, 1986. The 5th game will finally begin. And this time, I'll reach the end. The end of that journey. I'm not worried about the surface level stuff, like murders and tricks. What did you, the Golden Witch Beatrice, think, and why did you do what you did? What were you hoping for? That's what I'm gonna find out. That's right. I already know how I can reach the end of that journey. It's been made clear to me since the very beginning. This time, I'll spin the chessboard around. I gotta add like a little macro for this or something. Ooh, oh, that's the wrong lawyer to flip. Okay. I'll read this tale not from my side, but from yours. And this time, I'll understand you. I'll pick my way to your heart. I won't let you feel pain. Don't worry, I won't let those witches use you as a toy anymore. Beata looked up at me again and gave a small nod. That's right. The position of Game Master might have been snatched up by Lim the Delta. However, as long as I continue this contest with the intent of fighting against Beata, our fight will continue no matter who controls the game board. Very soon, the curtain will rise on our game. Anyone who stopped consuming Umineko after the anime missed out on the Battler X Beatrice arc. What a shame. At this year's family conference, we must conceal the Master's secret once again. Yes, I understand. I'm a little doubtful that the same trick will work twice. Madam shares your concerns. Because of that, it was decided that this year, he will not leave the study even once. In other words, we'll make it seem like he's been shut away in his study the whole time? Yes. And the only ones allowed to enter the study are the three of us, the servants permitted to wear the one-winged eagle. So there you go, there's full confirmation Kumasawa does not have the one-winged eagle. And obviously, well, no shit, Goda doesn't too, of course. In case anyone's gonna make jokes like, maybe she has it tattooed on her thigh or something. No. Which means the three of us will have to perpetuate the lie about the Master. Correct. The relatives will probably question you about the Master's health and mood. Make sure you answer without hesitation, and see to it that nothing is seen as suspicious. Yes, I understand. I'm sure you'll screw up right away, Nei-san. Maybe it's better to say you have a cold or something so you can skip that day. That's mean. Kinda wasn't just making fun of her. He only wanted to release Shannon from the burden of working on this most serious of days. Genji-sama, is it really necessary for Shannon to be on duty? We can manage things well enough without her. That I cannot do. Madam gave strict orders that the three of us be scheduled to work on that day. Yes, I'm prepared to perform my duties successfully. Don't screw up. I won't. Shannon grew sullen and Ganon shrugged. Then Genji told him that they weren't taking this seriously enough. Shannon, Ganon, the master we serve has already passed away. However, until he is truly passed on, we will continue to serve. That study is not empty. The master is still there, or to work on his usual research. Make sure you take that to her. Yeah, he's in there like studying how to mod Minecraft. Won't come out until he's finished his expert mod pack. Yes, Genji-sama. Junie. Father's already passed away? That's insane. Settle down. It's only a possibility. It's well known that Takeda Shingen said in his will that his death was to be kept secret for 3 years. Know about that? Is that how it went? My Japanese history isn't so great. At that time, Takeda was in the middle of a war with Oda and Tokugawa. If people heard about his death at a time like that, it'd probably have a bad impact on the war. Because of that, you'll have to will saying that his death should be kept hidden for 3 years. Hideyoshi did the same thing, right? Look, Hideyoshi got in history with his name. He totally suppressed information about the death of his master, Oda Nobunaga, so that the enemy wouldn't find out. Quickly made peace with Mori, and defeated Akechi in the Battle of Yamazaki. Words. On the other hand, Shibata Katsuie failed this. The enemy, Uesugi, learned of Nobuyuki's death, so Shibata had to deal with an unexpected counterattack and got slowed down. That's why, later on, he suffered a great loss against Hideyoshi in the fight for the succession. Hideyoshi, who had a strong fascination with the commanders of the Sengoku period, could tell, would always show his knowledge when he got the chance. Wincing slightly, Ava made him get back to his point. So basically, the whole time since last year's family conference, I felt as though something was strange. You mean the time when Rudolph and I were talking about the inheritance and Father overheard us from the hall? That's just it. Natsu's son of the servants kept saying Father was here, there, that he seemed to be in a bad mood. But not a single one of us relatives saw Father, right? But what you're thinking is right. But does it mean Nissan's trying to keep all the inheritance for himself? Of course, hiding someone's death is a very dangerous thing to do. And all things considered, I'm not sure Krausen would be willing to do it just to have the inheritance to himself. but it is possible. Well, it's true that Nissan has always been greedy. He always used to take things that were meant for all the siblings, keeping them all for himself. Krausen is supposed to be the richest of the siblings. Krausen scheming to keep the inheritance all to himself, to the point of accepting the risk of hiding father's death, sounds a tad unbelievable to me. Even so, last year's family conference was so strange, I can't help but wonder. Hideyoshi has had a canon accent change since the question marks. Even the others were painfully aware of how reckless it would be to try and see Kinzo when he was in a bad mood. So, during last year's family conference, once they heard about Kinzo getting into a terrible mood, they never made an attempt to contact him. That was why, to this very day, they didn't find it suspicious that Kinzo had never appeared. It certainly is worth suspecting, but I wonder if Nissan would really do something as appalling as hiding father's death. What are you doing, Junie? For all his pride, that man has a coward side to him. Would he really make such a once-in-a-lifetime bet? Either way, it'd probably be a good idea to make sure we get a chance to meet with Father during this year's conference. Wait, is he on the same building that Angie was on? What is this scene? The rumors are really bad. Sounds like Aniki's business is failing even worse than we'd imagined. Like he's taken massive losses, and he's given it all he's got just to try and cover it up. That'll make it very difficult to borrow money from him. Yeah, I could cry. When Rudolph cries. Wouldn't being in financial stress all week also weaken Kraus-san's position in certain ways? Weaken his position? Well, investors tend to have a keen eye. If they hear that he's actually low on funds, they won't want to have anything to do with him. I guess trust is the most important part of that business. Kirei smiled thinly. Rudolph was taken aback by that smile. He had figured that his plan, which involved raising money to get him out of his current mess by borrowing from the affluent Kraus, would all come to nothing now that they knew Kraus himself was in financial trouble. You know this song, Fushiroma. Confidence. I don't know who this is. Who's talking? Confidence in Kraus-san's abilities might be a requirement for his own businesses in the future, but it isn't necessary for our future. Are you suggesting that I blackmail him? I wouldn't want to if it were me. For one blood sibling to take another one down is no laughing matter. Hee. Rudolph felt a shiver go up his spine at Kidea's cold smile. At times, Kidea was able to throw away all compassion and think in an extremely ruthless manner. You didn't really miss much of anything so far, honestly. Valor and Beatrice held hands for a bit. That's pretty much the biggest event so far, right? I mostly missed me coddling my cat. And cuddling my cat. And cattling my cat. She's got the sneezies lately, though. She's been, like, all sneezy and wheezy. I think it's allergy season, or she's got a little cat cold or something. Yeah, it happened last year around this time, I think, too. Whenever he saw that, Rudolph knew he'd never like to have her as his enemy. The sprites you showed me in DMs, by the way, for CDO Good Reel, by the way. They're pretty nice. I'd rather not threaten Oni-san if we had any other way to get money. If there were another way, we wouldn't be worrying. You think it's a bit pathetic to waste time worrying about a problem when you have no other options? Rudolph stopped talking, folded his arms, and lowered his gaze. He still felt some of the terror he'd experienced thanks to Kraus's violence when they were young. Hey. See? Cat sneezes. Not all of them have thick fur. Some of them are long-haired and some of them are short-haired. Junie is long-haired with thick fur. And she's had enough lap time, apparently. Okay. And now that same... There's hair all over the place. I think I'm good. I think I can talk without getting hair in my mouth now. And now that Sim Kraus was the one he needed to threaten. What's wrong? What's wrong? It'll settle. Bam, pow, straight to the moon. Rudolph would also be fighting against his childhood trauma. So, to give her husband a little push, Kidea smiled reassuringly, and perhaps coldly. I've never been a fan of doing work based on trust. It takes hard work to build up trust, but only instant to lose it. There's no less profitable investment. You're right. All the trust in the world isn't worth a good banknote. Even though Kraustown has been taking in massive losses, you have to be capable of gathering enough money to buy us some time. Of course, he'd probably be forced to cash in all the trust he's built up so far. This is gonna get ugly. We'll have to prepare sufficiently. We haven't been given any time or room for failure. Isn't that right? Among my Kyoto friends, I know a few who are talented at this sort of investigation. I'd rather not be indebted to people like that, but you want to try meeting them? You can expect people like that to offer you receipts, but I'm sure they'll dig up something that makes them worth the investment. Yeah, don't forget, like, the other side of her family is Yakuza. So don't underestimate Gideon. She's scary. Yes, Maria is doing well too. That's none of your business. Thank you. Huh? Well, I'll have to look at my schedule. Rosa was talking to Rudolph over the phone. I don't know, Gidea didn't do the cross counter. Rosa rarely received calls from her older sibling, so she braced herself for something serious. Well, the truth is, I want to have a little talk about the next family conference without Aniki. Between you, me, and Ava and Asan? Sounds like a headache. I can't go into details over the phone, but I think you'll find it's worth listening to. Something good? Of course. Aniki's all for it. Yeah, Kidea would have been cool in the fighting games, but the thing is, like, they can only do so much with the adults without just having them, like, kick, punch, and use guns, really. Someone like Ava Beatrice is different because she has, like, an alternate form. And who knows, maybe there's going to be other stuff like that moving forward, but we haven't seen it so far. So, you know. Yeah, Kraus was a boxer, right? They could have done a boxing set for Kraus, I guess. But past that, it gets a bit tricky, right? Nice, honest? All we want is your approval. We aren't going to ask you for money or anything like that. The most important thing is that the three of us stick together. Got it? Get the hint? Rosa let out a sigh. Well, yeah, real, but they can only do that so many times. They did it for Rosa because they hadn't done it yet. So we have Rosa, basically. They could have potentially done the others as well. Like, they could have done Natsui, and she could have been largely the same as Rosa, though I have an easier time imagining Rosa doing, like, the funny, like, upside-down gun-shooting moves than I do Natsuhi, but still. She did so because in the past, when Rudolph and Ava got into a fight with Kraus, they always used to talk to her like this before dragging her into it. First, tell me, I stand to gain something too, yes? Yep, the three of us will each grab 200 million out of this. If all goes well, we might be able to squeeze out more. That should be enough to handle your debt, right? And when can we expect to grab this by? Of course, it'll be within a year. I need it, Aniki needs it, and you need it too, Rosa. All three of our problems will be settled. We all need a lot of money, right now. So the chances of success are good enough that Nissan's agreed to it. Now, do you want to hear? I know it's a bit sudden, but let's meet next Sunday, 19 o'clock, at that coffee shop you like in Ginza. That's the only time Aniki's schedule might match. Any problems? If we're talking 200 million, I'll have no choice but to listen. Then let's meet at 7 p.m. next Sunday at Leopold's. And Maria-chan, you can bring it too if you want. Don't talk about money in front of that child. She set the receiver down with a clunk, a little violently. You call that slamming. Apparently, either Ava or Rudolph had gotten a hold of one of Krause's weak points. They would probably threaten him with that at the next family conference and force him to pay up. Even before hearing the details, she knew full well that it would be nothing good. But even so, this might be her once-in-a-lifetime chance to pay back her large debts. Rosa took a notebook out of her handbag, and started to mark the day she'd be meeting with Rudolph and Ava. Then she frowned and smacked herself hard on the forehead, because written there was DZL with Maria. Something she had planned to do with her daughter. What is DZL? Disneyland. Probably Disneyland, right? It's probably Disneyland. Probably. Maria to DZL. Sure. It's probably Disneyland. Maria was in her room, playing around excitedly with Sakataro and the others. That was because she was going to go to the... Yep, see? Recently built amusement park. Disneyland. The following Sunday. I was close. Looking at the clock, Rosa saw that it was just past 9 at night. Mario was breaking the lights out rule. After covering her face and agonizing for a while, Rosa stood up and stomped over to Mario's room. The room would probably be a mess as well. At least tonight, that was convenient. Can we just skip? Like, a Rosa abusing Mario scene for once, please? I'm getting sick of these. As she stood at the side of the door to Mario's room, listening to the happy laughter seeping through, Rosa's face twisted in anguish once again as she looked at the floor. Then, when she raised her head again, her brow was furrowed and her face had become an ugly expression of anger. Oh, is it going to skip it for us? Nice. We don't have to see Rosa finding excuses to get angry at her daughter so she can cancel Disneyland. Yes! I'm really relieved. Just imagine it, or just don't. The weather wasn't that great. According to the weekend forecast, a certain tropical cyclone would likely grow into a large typhoon. If unhappy premonitions tend to be right, this year's family conference will probably take place in absolutely horrible weather. No, I wish a typhoon large enough to stop all boat travel would seal rock into my way forever. If that happened, I'd be able to hide Ginzo's death as long as I wanted. If only the typhoon would keep them at bay forever. Nancy let out a deep sigh. Just doing that made her headache throb. As the day of the family conference approached, the intensity of her headache just kept on increasing. At that time, the phone rang. Nancy turned the TV off and picked up the receiver. Is this what I think it is? Hello? I apologize for calling during your rest. It is Genji. Asked Genji. Is something the matter? There's a phone call for you from the external line. Ah, it is. However, they will not state their name. They aren't saying their name? Yes. The person in question said you would know when you spoke with them. What should be done? It might be a prank. What did they sound like? I believe it was a young man. Any idea who it might be? A young man? Be Rose's partner. Nah. Nancy didn't have a clue who that might be. In the first place, there was no one amongst her acquaintances who would do something as rude as refusing to state their name. And on top of that, a young man? As wife, she must avoid any contact that might be considered suspicious with anyone other than her husband, much less a young man. As soon as she thought this, the phone call suddenly seemed like something dirty. You see, it's an alternate universe where the sex hotlines call you, I guess. But despite that, she also wanted to know what they wanted to tell her. Don't answer it. Could it be some kind of trouble related to Krause's business? What if there was some particular reason they needed to talk to Krause's wife instead of Krause directly? No matter what it is, it's my duty as a wife to listen and report it to Krause. If it's some bizarre threat, I just have to firmly refuse and inform Krause that I received such a phone call. If it's something offensive, I just have to tell Genji to never send me anonymous calls again. Just block the number. I don't know if you can actually do that back then. As Nancy thought this, just as Genji was suggesting that he hang up on the man, as though that's what she'd naturally choose, she told him to connect her to this person. She then set the receiver down. After a short while, the phone rang again. Hello? This wasn't the internal line. It was the external phone line which Genji had redirected to her. So it should already have been connected directly with the mysterious man. However, the person on the other end didn't respond. Not liking this at all, Nancy spoke one more time, sounding displeased. Hello? Who is this? Tell me your name. She heard something that sounded like a sigh. She gulped reflectively. After remaining silent for a little longer, the man finally answered. It's been a long time, huh? That was the first time the man had spoken. Just how long has it been? How many years? What are you talking about? Who are you? The voice certainly did sound like a young man's, but it's hard to learn much about someone just by their voice over the phone. It sounded like a young man, but it might actually be a middle school-aged boy, or a man in his prime who still had a youngish voice. No, wait, it might be too soon to be sure this is even a male. However, one thing was certain. Nancy could think of no one who would speak to her in an overly familiar manner like this. It'd be easy for me to tell you my name, but that would make me very sad. I don't know what you're talking about. Who are you? And what business do you have with me? If you can't tell me that, I'm not interested. Yeah, real. It's someone. I'm hanging up. What I want is for you to remember. And what I want, what is it that you're telling me to remember? I don't know you, so I have nothing to remember. Please do not say that. I am your child, am I not? No, it's definitely not Jessica calling. What did you say? What are you talking about? Do not say things that'll make me so sad. Mother. That unsettling word thrust itself mercilessly into the depths of Natsu's heart and started turning it about. In her entire life, Natsu had never been told something so unsettling. In her bewilderment, Natsu felt her heart beat so loudly that it felt like it would explode. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're planning, but I'm hanging up. I came back for revenge. Revenge for your crime of 19 years ago. Natsu's mind went blank, and from beyond the wind howling outside the window, she most certainly heard the roar of the sea from that day. So you actually do remember, do you not? I told you I don't know what you're talking about. Never call me here again. I have not forgotten how you treated me 19 years ago. To curse you, I still call you mother despite that. No, because of that. The family conference will be here very soon, right? I'm your son, mother. And we'll come on the day of the conference. Half of the Umineko OST is like troll songs. After 19 years. So that I can have my revenge on you. Click. Breathing so hard her shoulders heaved, Natsu slammed the receiver down and hung up. Then she hit the phone violently, knocking the receiver off, so that no more calls would come through it. I think our cat just took a shit somewhere. I need to go deal with that. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, it was Allie. She's old. She also doesn't really like using the litter box as much. She doesn't get along well with the other cats. She doesn't feel safe. Cat problems. We make do. As best as possible. Look, it's my kitchen towels. The food bowl I have in my room. Oh. God, I wish I could say that wasn't the case. My house is not in the best of shape. It's hard to really maintain it with 8 cats. It feels like any serious things I do to clean up will just be undone, you know? But unfortunately, it kind of stays this way for a while. Having 8 kids ain't easy. Ooh, okay. I can hear the roar of the sea. But, okay, I don't know why that skipped so strangely. That voice I hear from beyond the howling wind is certainly... even if I cover my ears... this headache won't... Completely pale, Natsu kept shivering as though cold. So she clearly seems to recognize the person. Maybe based on what they said, not their voice. Lambda, are you there? Yes, I'm here. I'm anywhere you want me to be, bird. Then crawl into the cupboard under the kitchen floor. Or in a jar of rice pen paste if you like. Oh. I knew I shouldn't remove the Rico layer. What a fool I was. Had to clean up OBS earlier though. 30th today? There is. Oh, don't worry, I have a folder right here that has all 3 of them in it. And we'll just add these 2 for now. Why does it have to add them like that? Okay. Let's flip them around today. Map pack can be over here. Gotta go in the wiki and edit, like, the character section. Meta world characters. Furide Erika. Sorry, Rika. Map pack. Matthew. Oh, you're gonna dip me in bean paste and bite into me? But then I'd rather you dip me in honey. In return, I'll cook you in sugar water. At least make it sweet soy sauce with sweet sake. So what's up? You gonna make me repeat something? That's right. Is Natsu's phone conversation here real? I am the Delta grinned unpleasantly as though sizing Brent Castell. Remember, right now, they're competing here, so technically in a sense Brent Castell's on our side because she's fighting against the Game Master alongside Battler. So she's kind of in Battler's position with like, oh, she could do Blue Truth and like Lambda has to like refute her and stuff like that. It's weird, I know. Okay. Lambda Delta grinned unpleasantly as though sizing Brent Castell up. She was probably trying to tease Brent for making that demand. You refuse to repeat it? Well now, should I refuse or should I respond? As the Game Master, that's up to me to decide, and I get to make that decision anytime I want. Unless I state it in blue, you aren't obligated to respond. That's it? But now you're stuck wondering about Natsu's suit from 19 years ago, okay? Make sure you're sitting on the edge of your seat. Of course, this fishy telephone call happened before October 4th, 1986. This is still before the start time of the game, so there's basically no need to question whether it's true or false. Since you, the Game Master, went out of your way to show me this, I'll take it as a preparatory move for something else. It might be a trick, but I'll at least keep this move of yours in my memory. So you'll leave without turning the card over. Ouch, what? Directo attack. After suddenly being conked on the head, Lambda Delta was bewildered. But perhaps this incomprehensible exchange was funny to her, because she quickly went back to giggling. Are you done preparing the game board now? Yeah, that's right. Now finally move on to the game. On to October 4th, 1986. I wonder what number October 4th, 1986 this is. The Endless Witch, huh? Beatrice. She truly is a frightening child. Any moves from your side yet, Baron? No. If you refuse to repeat what I asked, then I'm done. Tano Endo. Lights. Untap, upkeep, draw. Wrong game. Come, October 4th, 1986. I summon October 4th, 1986 to the field, face down. Fucking Ryukishi 7. I guess Brent still doesn't care to, like, make her repeat it in red by using the blue. I guess she's just not concerned yet. She's just gonna be patient and wait and try to corner all at once. This rose garden really is a masterpiece. It's gotten even more awesome than it was 6 years ago. You're so lucky to have this as your yard. Are you kidding? For me, it just makes it a longer walk to the harbor. Harbor, not arbor, and that's a real pain. Hahaha, that's a pretty luxurious worry. Ooh, getting to say hi to the roses every morning must be awesome. You must get late after saying hi to so many roses. Yeah, I was actually thinking that myself yesterday, real. I don't see why not, technically. I do have to wonder, like, if there's anything preventing that. Like, I don't know, maybe there's something that, like, inherently works against you with the red, that, like, if you're not confident in it, you can't say it, maybe? Like, maybe not being confident in it will make you cut off midway through and choke on your words, just like being wrong would. Shame about Angie, though. I hear her stomach gets upset easily, right? Apparently, it's probably her intestines that are weak. She's almost always got the runs. We didn't need to know that. Ooh, you shouldn't say something like that about a lady. About anyone, really. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot. Nothing comes out of a girl's butt but marshmallows, right? So Angie got sick and the marshmallows turned into syrup. Okay, that's really way over the line. George and Jessica slammed the knee in a fist right into either side of Battler's gut. The smack thud was probably the sound made when his knees hit the ground as he fell over. Normally, Battler possessed the good sense you'd expect of an 18-year-old man. Does he? Does he really? Because I haven't seen a lick of that. However, it seemed this reunion had brought him back to the mental age he'd been 6 years ago. Was he trying to grow up girls 6 years ago, too? Yeah, Battler's 18. You didn't know that? Yeah. I went over the cousin's ages before, I think. Or maybe that was when I was watching Fatal stream in the Chaos Disco. I'm not sure, actually. But, yeah. I mean, 18 is high school. He could have probably just graduated, if anything. And bit by bit, Jessica and George realized they were also returning to the way they'd been back then. I mean, like, yeah, like, it depends on when your birthday is, right? Nancy gazed at this charming chat through an open window in the hall. Madam, Kraus-sama is searching for you. I'll go in just a bit. It isn't even lunchtime yet, and I'm already tired. Nancy has depression. Just a few moments ago, the sparks had already started flying between them and Eva's group. The others had pounded on Kraus and Nancy over and over to get Kenzo out of his study. Apparently, they hadn't been fully tricked at last year's family conference after all. There are no problems with father, right? Correct. Leave it to me. Shannon and Cannon are also fully prepared to handle today's arrangements. Kumasawa is a good liar, so I'm not worried about her, but I am a little concerned about Dr. Nanjo. I have a feeling he's bad at hiding things. Leave that to me. I intend to support Dr. Nanjo from nearby as much as possible. It's so reassuring to have you there. It truly does help a lot. Without your strength, we wouldn't be able to succeed. I am honored by your words. Don't worry. Nicole's room barrier on the study is perfect. Right, so remember, this isn't Meta Beatrice or anything. She's still long-haired and not talking. So what we're seeing here is Natsuhi's Beatrice in the game board. So it's almost like like Meta Natsuhi, Meta Beatrice level between the actual game, but still totally disconnected from what we're doing with Battler. So it's like 1.5 layer. If the meta is like 2, that makes perfect sense, right? Probably. Here she is. Is there anything we need to read in here, by the way? I don't think so. Like, there's still like some stuff in here about 5th game and whatnot. But I think we've kind of seen that now. Yeah, see. Kind of. Game is confusing. Where was Longhair Beatrice in here? Is she not in here? Apparently not. Okay, she doesn't get to be in here. Right. Oh, I should show off the new art. Well, I say new art. I'm gonna call it like shitty art for Longhair Beatrice 1.2, huh? I guess so. Real? That is a word that has not been introduced yet. So, don't mention that word. Shh. That concept has not been brought up yet. Be careful. Mr. I read the wiki and don't know the order that things happen in or are explained in. Yes, I understand. Still, you heard that conversation with Pao just now, didn't you? Indeed. It seems that some considerable suspicions were aroused last year. It'll come up in, like, the space between 5 and 6, sometime around now. It's sometime soon. I mixed together a lot of things about 5 and 6. I know some stuff from 1 and the other, but I get mixed up kind of like I did 3 and 4. It didn't come up in 4. Does it? I don't think so. I'm gonna go take a look real quick. I don't think so, no. No. Nope. It does not come up yet. It is first used after the first twilight of End of the Golden Witch. Which is, the one that we're reading now. So hey, soon. Really soon. Well, Yeah, real. That is true, but it's not brought up directly with words. It's like in the narration yet. It's not directly mentioned until very, very soon, supposedly. The terrible toxin is accumulated and is being spread all around. It seems this year's conference really will be crucial. We might be able to overcome this year somehow, but there is such a thing as pushing our luck. It's probably best to assume the next year will be manageable. I run away. With this much of the magic-resisting toxin filling up the place, it'll probably be difficult to preserve Lord Goldsmith's magic for yet another family conference. Who are you? Oh, no need to be surprised. This man serves as my head furniture. Greetings, Madame Natsuhi. My name is Runaway. It is a pleasure to meet you. This man's reliable. He's also helping to protect the closed room barrier. Is that so? I'm Ushida Natsuhi. I thank you for your cooperation. Of course, madam. I will be aiding you from the magic world. Please rely on me. Hi, Gap. We knew Gap was going to come back because she's just in here. Let's see. Rononue? Isn't that isn't that wrong though? I'm gonna go check real quick. That's just wrong. I'm just looking at the kanji. That is just wrong. That's strange. I trust Gold Edition less and less every day. In that case, I guess I'll introduce myself next. Hi, Riche. Long time no see. Gap, I'm glad to see you're here as well. Well, I only came to have some fun. Real, you... Well, yeah. What you wrote there is correct. Runaway not equals Ronaue. It's different. They're supposed to not be written the same because they're not the same word. So there's nothing wrong with it. So it translates it the only correct way to translate it. Well, I only came to have some fun. If you need an extra hand, let me know. Nice to meet you, madam. This is the first time I've said hello, but I'm always right by anyone's side. Can confirm. Cuckoo. Gap here is quite the prankster. Remember that headache medicine you dropped on the floor of your room and lost as you were getting dressed? Gap was the one behind that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here, I'll go to Japanese. Let's see, where are we going here? Ro no ve. So here is the katakana yu, and there's a special thing in katakana where if you put the dakuten, which is these two little lines. Sorry, you can't see the mouse. I'll turn on the mouse, hold on. Mouse. Okay, alright, so, Japanese lesson. This reads as ro no vu e. But this vue gets changed to ve because this is a small e. So this thing here, this little like whoop whoop whoop, is normally the katakana for u. But you can change this. Now this is typically not done in hiragana because Japanese language itself does not need a v, but they need it for loan words sometimes, names and things like that. So you can put these little dakuten here to make u into vu. So this becomes ro no ve. So it's correct. So if we go over to Gengi here, Gengi. So, well, you know, because this thing is fucking useless, he decides to not put his full name in here. So I'm just gonna copy and paste it for you. Okay. Here it is. So. Yes, it is usable person. It is used person. You're not wrong at all, unfortunately. So I can't like really hover over this very well. But just like, you can see it on stream. So the first character is ro. The second is the katakana for no, but that can also be used in names. So we have ro, no. And the third character is not ve, but it is just ue. So it is essentially what you'd see in ro no ve, but without the handakuten. Sorry, not handakuten. Without the full-on dakuten. But it's written differently here. But it is read as ro no ue instead of ro no ve. And I don't need to talk about Genji, like, who cares? Genji. It actually says how to read it, so just... It's not the same. Runobe and runaway are different. So the fact that they're translated differently is a good thing. It is correct. It would be wrong otherwise. Now you know. Actually, I guess if anything, I'm curious about, how's Gap's name written? Gap. Actually, not even. It's actually not Gap Boots. Gap. Kind of. It's weird. Normally with like the word gap, instead of this little tiny ah in the middle, you'd see a little small tsu, which would double the consonant and change G-A-P-U into G-A-P-P-U. But in here, you are supposed to somehow extend the ah. I don't really know how you say G-A-A-P in English besides just gap. So I don't really know exactly what they're trying to make of that. Gap. I don't know. It's weird. This doesn't really make much sense to have like the small ah there. But I guess that's because it's some weird fictional demon name, you know. I said fictional, yeah, I don't... They didn't invent Gap. I think she is like from the 72 Demons or whatever. In that one book, but... You know what I mean. English. Whenever you set something small down somewhere but can't find it later, it's always a good idea to suspect that it's one of her pranks. She's the sock gremlin. Long ago, she used to tease me all the time. Is that so? This is one heck of a picture we're looking at here. Thanks, Umineko. In any event, this is the Ushimita Mansion. As long as you are here, you will obey us. You understand, correct? Of course, we understand. Think of me as a Genji of the magic world and give me orders whenever you wish. And even I know how a guest is supposed to act. I don't want the landlord to lose face. You can count on Runabe and Genji. However... sorry, I said Runabe and Genji, I meant Runabe and Gap. And Genji too. I'm sorry, but you know, whenever you guys say Runabe and Gap, could you include Genji too? You know, Runabe and Gap and Genji. Thank you. However, the magic world and the human world are two human... However, the magic world and the human world are two different sides of the same coin. I understand. Of course, I will do all I can in the human world. Let's work together and protect Father's secret. Indeed. This is my English practice stream. This happens every time. Looks like we won't get anywhere until the next day. Hmm? Well, sure. October 4th is like a prep turn for me. If you don't feel like doing anything, why don't you just sit around until October 5th? I'll call you after the first 6 die. Of course, that was an incredibly irritating way to put it. The fight won't start until the crime occurs. However, waiting for the crime to start would mean turning a blind eye towards the murders of the first Twilight. In other words, it would be the same as being content with the fact that 6 people would die. I mean, what are you going to do to stop it? Did you know? They say that in chess, the player who is first is twice as likely to win. Although that can change as the tactics of the match progress, don't they say the second player has a much better chance at a draw? Even I know the phrase, the first strike wins. So what are you trying to say? This is why you're so incompetent. Seriously, are you listening, Battler? There do exist puzzles that can be solved even on October 4th. Know which one I mean? You don't mean... No, but... Japanese first strike wins? Sure. I think I've probably seen it in, Japanese before. Sentei Hisho. It is right here, on the right in the second line. Sentei Hisho. Yeah, I've seen that before. I can put it in chat if you'd like as well. Sentei Hisho. Seriously. Oh, wait, we're already past that. You don't mean... No, but... Hehehe. Well, watch and see, Battler the Incompetent. Giggle, giggle. I have a general idea what these witches are talking about. I've tried solving it several times myself in the past, but I still haven't found anything resembling an answer. On the contrary, I still can't even understand why that puzzle exists. That looks like Strike While the Iron's Hot, which I believe also has a thing. Yeah, yeah, right. I think that also exists. In Japanese, maybe. Yeah, so it's not quite an idiom. Well, it is an idiom, but it's not a Yoshijuku. It's Tetsuwa Atsuyuchi ni Ute, which is literally strike while the iron's hot. So I can only assume that like one country got it from the other, you know, like maybe the Asian countries took it from America or vice versa. I don't know how this kind of thing usually works. It's like Iseki Nicho being two birds with one stone. That's like literally the same in both languages, so probably something similar. That's right. The reason it exists. Why did Beato prepare a puzzle like this in the first place? We all discussed it together from time to time in past games. However, I've started to avoid thinking about it, under the assumption that there's no point in trying to solve a riddle that can't be solved. You talking about the epitaph? This time I should change my viewpoint. I shouldn't just focus on the surface level stuff, like the truth of the riddle and how to solve it. What's more important is why that riddle was set up in the first place and displayed for us to see. That's what I should be thinking about. Essentially, the game's saying that's what you should be thinking about. And the one proposing that riddle is Beatrice. Taken from Chinese. I don't know. The Japanese one is very much like a literal translation of the English idiom, if anything. It looks like it, at least to me. Especially the fact that it's not Yoshijuku, right? Even if I can't solve it, I should be able to try to figure out what Beato was thinking when she showed it to us. Okay, this time I'm spinning the chessboard around. The witches keep calling me incompetent. Let them laugh. They aren't my enemies. I'm continuing our match, Beato. But which is right, though? That we're pretty incompetent so far. Yeah, it's okay. You had a pretty decent show in episode 4. Someone incompetent could never pass off small bombs in an argument and win. Oh, looks like it's finally started raining. No, that's not right. That's Rudolph. How did I do Hideyoshi? I did like country bumpkin accent. Dang. Wish the only downpour was the one inside my heart. The people in the parlor noticed the raindrops that were starting to drip down the window. Now we have nowhere to run until the family conference ends. The same thing goes for Nissan. I won't let them escape, you can be sure of that. The cards we're holding aren't bad. Nissan's just bluffing. That makes certain he surrenders. Now there's more to a deal than making our opponent lose. No, that's wrong. How did I... Well, there's more... No. That's Mafia Gangster! How did I did this like less than an hour ago. I said like, this kind of works to differentiate them from the others. The dub, you're probably right though, you probably did a decent job. Now there's more to a deal than make your opponent lose. You've got to get a pitfall ready, praise them a bit, and convince them to stand on their own accord. Yeah, there we go, yeah. Hideyoshi sounds right. We pressed him a bit too hard last time, even Nissan. That was perfectly reasonable, considering it's Nissan we're dealing with. Looks like Rose has fallen asleep. She was complaining about how early she woke up this morning. Well, guess there's nothing wrong with taking a nap. There's a chance we might be forced to spend all night on this. Getting a nap in now is probably a smart idea. Out of consideration for Rosa, who had fallen asleep on a sofa, the others quietly left the parlor. Unaware of this, Rosa slept. After telling Maria to just stay where she was after that tantrum over not being able to find a rose, Rosa slept, unaware that the rain had started to fall. Hopefully we can skip most of this scene too, because we've definitely seen them arguing over the inheritance and Ginzo and all that with Kraus before. Please, move on. The rain poured down as though it had been saving up for this moment. Of course, Maria noticed that the rain had started falling and was not soaking her to the bone. However, that just made her even more stubborn. Did it say not soaking her to the bone? No, but I did. Why? Unable to find the porously laying healthy rose that she herself had marked, she just couldn't stand having that start to be interrupted by something like the rain. So the more the rain fell on Maria, the more stubborn she grew, as she wandered through the rose beds. Clearly what we need is Umineko Extended Edition that keeps in all the scenes that repeat through all the novels, you know. It's like the opposite of, you know, One Piece for One Piece. We need something that writes all this stuff back in because we're clearly missing, you know, full context here. As she did, from Maria's back came raindrops, the sound of approaching footsteps. Close enough. I don't want them. I've seen Endo say, okay, I've already suffered through the, you know, mandatory Haruhi hazing. I've done my pilgrimage. I've done my time watching Endless 8. Fully. With no skips, no speed-ups. I think twice now, in fact. I'm never doing it again. It ain't worth it. Then the footsteps landed in a puddle, making a small splashing sound that Mario finally heard. However, even the slight distraction that sound irritated her and Mario ignored it. Other people from this generation even know what I mean when I say Endless 8. It's possible, some people don't. I think it's probably not as well known now, right? As big of a meme. Hello. Hello. Mario turned around, bewildered. After all, that voice was one she didn't recognize at all. And the sealed off Rekenjima. That voice belonged to no person she knew. But why do you give me an achievement for that time? Oh. Oh, right, I know the achievement. As in, like, I know who we're talking about. It's not Beatrice. Endless 8 is from Haruhi. The melancholy of... Sorry, English. The melancholy of Suzumiya Haruhi. Suzumiya Haruhi no Yutsu. It's a series of 8, like, time loop episodes. It's an entire 8. And usually, like, the only thing that happens different is, like, the last 30 seconds or 2 minutes or so. Besides maybe someone wearing a different shirt. Or, like, them going somewhere different from their summer vacation. Krasama, madam, I was looking for you. Something important has come up. Krasanatsu had been privately discussing what she'd be done next in a deserted corridor on the 3rd floor. Genji had searched everywhere for them. What is it? It must be something more urgent than a few sheets getting soaked in the rain. What is it? Has some sort of blunder been made? A short while ago, someone arrived at the mansion, claiming to have drifted here after an accident at sea. Krasanatsu couldn't help but go wide-eyed and stare at each other. This was the first time they'd ever heard of someone coming to this island uninvited. Yeah, so episode 5 is going to be different. Someone drifted here? Is that true? The poor thing. Treat this person politely, like a guest. What are they doing now? Dr. Nandra is performing an examination. He isn't finished yet, but from what I could tell by looking, the drifter seemed tired but uninjured. Thank goodness. Nancy and I are having an important conversation right now. When it's over, we will go check on this person. Please tell this drifter that we want them to feel at home. Certainly. Genji bowed deeply and started to leave. Natsu called him to a stop. Genji stopped walking, and Natsu jogged up to him. Genji, is this drifter a man? No. She is a young woman about the same age as my lady. A woman? I see. Very well. Back to your work. I wonder if this version of the translation is going to keep in, something related to this character. There's a very unpleasant term that she uses to refer to herself later on. Hirashi Sotsu. Which one was Sotsu? It's the first set of the new anime, right? I watched the new anime. Sotsu and Goal, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it took a while to get through, but to be fair, it's important that it is like that. Because of what it presents itself as. I don't want to spoil anything for people who've seen the original Higurashi. If you've seen the original Higurashi, go watch the remake, Sotsu. Yeah. I'm gonna call it that. The parlor of the mansion was bustling. The adults gathered, worrying about the health of this sudden guest. Well, if she was able to walk all the way to the rose garden by herself, her life probably isn't in danger. It always helps to be prepared. It's probably all thanks to the life jacket. Without that, she might have drowned. What kind of girl was she? Older or younger than George? Or Jessica? She was younger than Jessica. She wore a life jacket and swimsuit. It looked like she was all tired out. She washed up somewhere near the harbor. That must have been a rare bit of luck amid disaster. It would have been terrible if she landed on the opposite side of the island. Still, you have to feel sorry for her. With this weather, the boats won't be coming. I imagine she'll also be stuck in this island all day tomorrow. At that moment, the door clunked open and everyone looked in that direction. Would anyone like some tea? It was Goda and Cannon, with the latter pushing a serving cart laden with a tea set. Goda understood well that doing a little extra at times like this would earn him points. Oh, Goda, you innocent little butterfly. The relatives, hungry for information, crowded around Goda. He ordered Cannon to serve the tea and became the sole object of the relatives' attention. Kiekakudori. Goda-san, how's that kid doing? Does it look like she's okay? Well, I don't know about that. But there is no need to worry. Dr. Najo is giving his full attention to taking care of her, and Kusawa and Shannon are with him. Please, have no fears. Why not relax with some black tea for now? Come, Kana-san. Quickly, quickly, serve it, serve it! Kana knew this tea was just Goto's way of earning points, so he lined the cups up with a slightly sullen air. Ooh, I'll help too. It's okay. You can just wait there, Marisa. Ooh, I want to serve tea too. Didn't you talk with Dr. Najo? Did he say anything? Yes, when I met him a short while ago, he said that there weren't any serious external wounds, from what I could tell at a glance. And just as Goto had successfully captured the gazes of all present and was about to start talking knowledgeably on the subject, Najo returned. Of course, Najo instantly became the center of attention, and it turned it back on Goto, who seemed downhearted. Dr. Najo, how is her condition? Does it look like she'll be okay? Not to worry, everyone. She is fine. She had no injuries at all. She seems to be quite worn out, but there shouldn't be anything to worry about tonight, as long as she doesn't develop a fever. That's good to hear. We're lucky enough to have a doctor, but this is no hospital. Everyone was relieved to hear that the girl was in good health. When Najo gave the more detailed results of his examination, concluding by saying that she was young and that should therefore be fine, everyone who no longer fell under this description nodded in assent. Ooh, boats really are scary. Fall. What you do? Battler was right. Maria-chan, let's not tell Battler-kun about this. Oh, madam, Cross-sama. Goto, who had lost his nerve and was handing out cups, called in an excessively loud voice. Apparently he was that desperate to get everyone's attention. How was the guest? Yes, sir. Her condition is not serious. I see. That's great. Where is she now? I believe Kusawa-san and Shannon-san were guiding her to the bath. They said they would get her some clothes afterwards. In that case, they'll probably arrive here soon. Everyone, this may be the day of the family conference, but we have a guest brought here by an unfortunate accident. She wasn't invited, but I want you all to welcome her. Who could disagree with that? I'm all for it. Same here. Didn't Mom always tell us to be nice to girls? Maybe, but you didn't need to make that your life's motto. It's probably best if we call George and the rest over here too. Let's all greet her together. But wouldn't that just make her more uncomfortable? Ava stood up and made a phone call to the guest house. At that moment, they heard the sound of a knock, followed by Genji's voice. It is Genji. The guest has arrived. At those words, everyone fell silent, and the people who had been sitting stood up straight. Deep breaths, everyone. Genji came in first, opening the door slowly, then moved off to the side, bowing deeply and urging the guest forwards. It's Kusawa. The guest had Shannon and Kusawa falling by her side, and even after seeing the large number of relatives waiting for her in the parlor, she didn't seem overawed in the slightest. Just this single point showed that this girl possessed a dignity appropriate for a guest, invited in by the Ushida family. I assume these clothes must have come from the family, as well as the thing on her head. And she came in a swimsuit initially. Furudo-sama. I'll need to introduce you. This is the representative of the Ushida family head, Ushida Kraus. Welcome to Rakenjima. Though you arrived due to an accident, you are a guest of the family. We welcome you. Please make yourself at home and relax however you please. Thank you very much. Allow me to introduce myself. I am called Furudo Erika. My deepest apologies for disturbing you members of the Ushida family like this. I'm truly grateful for the warm welcome I received despite my status as an uninvited guest. This was greeted by an impressed sigh arising equally from all corners of the room. The clothes she had been lent were probably Jessica's formal wear from long ago, but the composure in her introduction didn't shame those clothes in the slightest. The girl's name was Furudo Erika. She looked slightly younger than Bauer and Jessica, but her composure and mannerisms were beyond what anyone would have expected from a high schooler, almost as though she was a well-to-do family's daughter. Wait a sec. What the heck is this? With an incompetent like you as the main character piece, the game would go anywhere. That's why I placed myself there as a piece. Well, it's just a bit of a bonus. Even in a closed circle, it'd get boring to see the same crew every time, right? Quit messing around. This piece doesn't exist on Beato's game board. Beato and I won't acknowledge it. This is Beato's game board, right? If Beato refuses, then I'll consider it. What do you say, Beato? Beato wasn't able to answer. And the Delta grinned triumphantly. I guess that settles it. Want to try complaining about the rules and stepping down from the game? Isn't that a favorite move of you mystery people? If there's even a tiny element that goes against your expectations, you throw a tantrum and totally stop thinking. Ugh. Don't worry. I'll make a detective proclamation regarding this piece. A detective proclamation? Here we go, Reels. You didn't have to wait that long. I proclaim that Furuta Erika is the detective. The detective isn't a culprit. No proof is needed to show this. In short, there is absolutely no need to suspect this girl. Even if she appears as a human piece from now on, you can build theories the same as you always did. Get it? That's Noctis 7th, right? It is forbidden for the detective to be the culprit. There was an exception clause in the original, but for this game, the detective isn't a culprit, it's been proclaimed in red, so you don't need to consider the exception. I hate word games, so I'll say this in red too. Furuta Erika is not the culprit. Repeat it. Furuta Erika had no influence in any of Beato's games before now. Sure, no problem. Furuta Erika had no influence in any of Beato's games before now. She's nothing more than an extra character who appears for the first time this round. She does not exist in the worlds before this one, nor does she influence them. So what does that do to the number of the people on this island right now? Of course, it's +1 from the previous number. But don't worry, Furuta Erika only increases it by 1 person. Besides her, the number of people on this island is exactly the same as it was in the previous games. It's really good to get all this stuff out of the way. At that time, the sound of people dashing down a corridor could be heard. It was Balor, George, and Jessica who had come from the guest house after being called here by Ava. I'll hold off on doing like a recap on the numbers because I think the game's probably going to do that in a minute on its own. They immediately spotted a guest they didn't recognize and their eyes went wide. Whoa, who are you? Ooh, a guest. She came by falling. Huh? Falling? Genji-san, who is this person? This is a guest, Furuta Erika-sama. Furuta-sama. This is the daughter of the family, Jessica-sama, along with her cousins George-sama and Balor-sama. Nice to meet you. I'm Ushimura Jessica. Hello, my name is Furuta Erika. I'm very pleased to meet you. Though Balor, George, and Jessica didn't have a clue what was going on and were utterly bewildered, they each introduced themselves. Isn't that convenient? This way, the number of people is clear. The people in the guest house have joined up with the rest, and now, all the pieces except for Kinzo, all the humans have gathered in the parlor. Looks like it. In other words, the number of people in this parlor now is equal to the total number of people on this island. There were supposedly 18 people on the island, but since grandfather's actually dead, that became 17. And now one piece of burn crystals has been added. The number of humans on this island has returned to 18. I glanced around the humans in the parlor. The guest, Furuta Erika, and behind her, Kubusawa-san and Shana-chan. Off to the side was Genji-san. Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsu were welcoming the guest. Goto-san immediately started showing off, and Kanen-kun was being unsociable, wearing his usual blank expression. There was Dad and Kirie-san, Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi, Aunt Rosa and Maria, and Dr. Najo. Then on either side of me were George Aniki and Jessica. And this is everyone, the true number of people on the island at the moment. Well, all of us are Ushimiyas. Please don't feel obligated to call us by our family name. I'm George. And I'm Battler. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much, George-san, Battler-san. I'd be pleased if you would call me Erika. I'm just going to try to say Erika. Let's not make this annoying. Nice to meet you, Erika-san. It was decided that Erika would be welcomed like a guest, and allowed to borrow the bedroom next to the cousin room on the second floor of the guest house. And besides, her name's in katakana anyway, so it's supposed to be a lone name essentially, so it's fine. And in front of all the relatives, she seemed dignified and a bit stiff. However, as she talked with George and Jessica, her expression began to soften gradually. And so, the detective, Furuta Erika, was placed on the game board. But what repercussions will this have? The detective is still kind of a vague term, so I don't want to elaborate on it too much, but it'll be elaborated on as we go on, I believe. I might double check on the wiki real quick. I don't want to talk about it too much. It's fine. I think, yeah. It'll be talked about more. It's okay. Let me go get a quick snack. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. I'm gonna heat my coffee back up too. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm snacked. But I'm surprised Jessica's old clothes suit her so well. Kumasawa made the decision on her own to use my lady's old clothes. Please forgive her. The clothes Erica wore were Jessica's old formal attire. Though the guest possessed a dignity that would put most adults to shame, her body was still physically similar to a middle schooler's. She is Rika-sized. Jessica's old clothes fit her perfectly. Actually, she's bigger than Rika, I think. Yeah. It's kind of like between Maria and Jessica, I believe. She's not actually Rika-sized, I don't believe. I think it's tiny. Not to worry, they match this guest perfectly. Oh, actually, no, that's her saying it. Not to worry, they match this guest perfectly. If she likes them, we may even let her keep them as a sign of friendship. Certainly. Thank you very much. Everyone sure is being, like, really positive toward her. You have contacted the police and her family? Yes, they seem to have been quite distressed. By the way, our guest really was involved in an accident, right? She herself said she fell from a boat as it was returning to port. Is there anything to back up that claim? I checked with the Coast Guard. It seems she fell from the rear of a pleasure boat, unnoticed by the others on board. We don't know the exact location she fell from, but it was probably somewhere near this island. It was foolish to play in a boat with such a bad weather forecast. However, is it really conceivable that she nearly drowned in the nearby waters and drifted to this island? It is not impossible. Tales of drifters washing ashore exist in several of the islands around this area. I mean, she's here now, so I believe it likely that an accident occurred. We're in the middle of a typhoon. Whereas Natsu is paranoid because she got that phone call. It would not be possible to land a boat anywhere on this island. Genji had already considered what... Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I can't read. Genji had already considered what she now suspected. Natsu probably suspected that this mysterious guest, who'd arrived during the already high-stress friendly conference, might be the agent of some conspiracy. So, Genji already checked to make sure that the accident was real, that Furuta Eroka was her real name, and that there was nothing suspicious going on. I understand. My husband has ordered that she be politely entertained. Make sure that there are no blunders. However, you do understand, don't you? Yes, I won't let her anywhere near the family conference. After dinner, I will see that she retires to the guest house. Make sure they don't start trying to force us to let her meet father or anything like that. Of course, I will keep that in mind. Oh, Furuta Eroka, was it? It's rare for guests to come here to Rakenjima. Doesn't this look like it'll be interesting? She's probably Lady Baron Castell's piece. Though she will follow the rules of humans, the player is a witch. So... The meta stuff is weird. So, like, they're talking about this in layer 1.5. And now Natsuhi's hearing the name Baron Castell, and she's probably like, who the fuck is Baron Castell? We mustn't underestimate her. There is no problem. Even if she were Lady Baron Castell herself, since she's a human, she's no match for us. After all, we have Gap with us. Humans certainly cannot win against Gap. Thanks. Still, it's not a good idea to overestimate yourself. The definition of a witch doesn't only imply the ability to use magic. True. A joker in the eye of a typhoon. That is what a witch is. I'm the only one who gets to call herself a witch on this Rakenjima. Only I, the Golden Witch and Endless Witch Beatrice. Let's see how good Lady Baron Castell's next piece after Angie is. And to watch very closely. It's really hard to fit together, like what this Beatrice is and what the other Beatrice is and all that. Sometimes just, if you have a vague understanding, it's okay, basically. IMO. We'll get to the interesting stuff very, very soon here. Erika's seat was the lowest one in rank. In other words, it was at the inferior end of the table. Since Kinzo's seat at the high end of the table was empty, AP spun the whole thing around. It sort of looked like Erika was the host of this dinner. Well then, everyone. I would like to begin tonight's dinner if I may. After Goda's announcement, dinner began with the applause that had become almost customary. It was finally the beginning of the dinner orchestra conducted by Toshiro Goda. At Silver Krause's household, sitting at such a majestic dinner table was no everyday thing for these people by any means. However, they were all used to this event and acted as though it was completely normal. Once again, if anyone was to be surprised, it should have been Erika, and yet she showed no signs of amazement at this dinner and acted with composure, blending in with everyone else. There wasn't even a sliver of fear one it might expect from someone who had wandered here like a lost puppy. What an odd child. She doesn't seem the least bit flustered by the Umineko family's grandest dinner of the year. Kids these days have nerves of steel. Definitely not something I dislike. Is Buddha's son used to meals as this one? I forget how I did him earlier. She seems to be quite composed. No kidding. She looks really experienced. Heck, I still get confused about which fork I'm supposed to use next. Was it this one or this one? Wahaha. Without showing me confusion of the line of utensils in front of her, Erica gracefully ate her hors What is this? Oh. Okay. Just checking Discord. Hideyoshi had started joking around with Eric gripping a fork in each hand. Of course, the president of the company in the food service industry like Hideyoshi obviously knew his table manners. However, thinking that Erica must be nervous over this dinner, he had intentionally spoken with a comic tone of voice. You just have to start on the outside and work your way in. If that's a pain, then just ask for some chopsticks. If you're Japanese, you've got to love chopsticks. Chopsticks are so great. Just one pair of those and you can deal with any kind of food. You can't deal with soup, Erica. You can't soup with chopsticks. I'd like to see you try. As soon as she began talking about chopsticks, her eyes started glittering. The smile she now showed for the first time was far different from the dignity she displayed before. It was something you'd expect from someone her age. But even you would use a spoon for curry and rice, wouldn't you? Just make it a donburi bowl. Is there anyone who eats beef bowls with a spoon? Of course not. For the Japanese, it's absolutely, positively, totally chopsticks. So, Goto-san, would you mind bringing me some chopsticks? I want to show everyone how a true Japanese person should eat without any shame. By the way, what are we eating next? Unfortunately, that would be soup. As she imitated a shrugging gesture, Erica winked at everyone. Hee hee. Wahaha. Of course, no one was laughing at her. She obviously knew that soup came after what it was in a full-course meal. Of course, everyone knows that. Furthermore, Erica had noticed both that she'd been performing too perfectly and creating a sense of tension, and that Hideyoshi had tried to break the ice because he thought she was nervous. That's why she started acting a little childish and lighthearted, acting out the part of a guest enjoying a harmonious dinner. Pretty soon, not only Kirie, but everyone else caught on. Though she was an uninvited guest, she was apparently worthy of participating in an Umineko family dinner. Smart kid. Did she really just come here by coincidence? Don't tell me you secretly called your illegitimate child at today's family conference, Nissan. It seems she even has the smarts to brighten the mood, and her manners are simply wonderful. It wouldn't be bad at all to have this girl as a daughter. That's pretty cruel. What does that leave Jessica-chan? That's me and Rudolph, Nissan. What's wrong, Jessica-chan? Headache? I get the feeling my reputation's taking a dive. Well, if you're a daughter of the head family, you'd better not let her beat you. Try using those table manners and dignity Aunt Nazi is always training you with and fight back. I want to see table manners. No, you don't. That's boring as hell, Moria. You don't know. You don't know. Ooh. Hey, jumping around is bad manners. Come on, Jessica-chan. Show us how it's done. Sure, of course. Jessica straightened up so much it looked like someone had poked her back with a pole. She had good posture, but it somehow lacked elegance. She looked, well, kind of like a triangle ruler. She sat at attention with her gaze fixed straight ahead, tried to bring her food to her mouth despite this, and failed miserably. Dad, who was sitting next to her, suddenly realized that something was up. What's wrong, Jessica-chan? Stomachache? Jessica turned bright red. Sorry, I can't help myself. Who was that who was supposed to be talking there? We laughed our heads off. Jessica protested, still bright red. Yes, it was Balor. Nazi scolded us for being too improper. Well, no matter how much we try to smooth it over, we are who we are. We couldn't pretend any longer. Still, that laugh really did help us to relax. We were so concerned about the guests getting nervous, we'd gotten even more nervous ourselves. Our chatter from the center of this long table spread to both ends, and ultimately the dinner went even more smoothly than usual. With some delicious cheese and coffee, our peaceful meal came to an end. Koro won unanimous acclaim and was praised for his skill by all present. After a short period of harmony following the meal, it was decided that we would return to the guest house. Normally, dinner tended to have a very dark atmosphere about it, and the adults would often keep that mood as they moved straight out of the family conference. However, perhaps because this year's dinner had been oddly peaceful, everyone decided to take a break, the adults included. After eating, taking a bath, and relaxing watching TV, on Earth they'll gather again in the mansion with all this rain and resume that high-tension family conference of theirs. I'd rather not think about it. Apparently, Aunt Ava was really getting worked up, trying to convince the rest to start the family conference right away, but it didn't look like many people agreed with her. They would probably call it quits for the night. Since they had guest house duty, Goto-san and Kubasawa-san were chosen to guide us to the guest house. It's gonna be tough for Goto-san. Even after making and cleaning up such an extravagant dinner, he also has the late night shift at the guest house. Catch my breath. Alright, the Kumasawa-san, old as she was, would be going to sleep soon. It seems she was assigned a spare room. Allow me to guide everyone to the guest house. Erika-sama, a room has also been prepared for you. Thank you very much. Why not rest a bit? Are you sure you feel okay? Yeah, that's right. I totally forgotten, but you nearly drowned and floated here, didn't you, Erika-chan? You'd probably be better off taking it easy and getting to bed early tonight. I'm perfectly fine. On the contrary, I'm so nervous and excited that I doubt I could get any sleep. Ooh, then let's play. Let's all play together. Let's play cards. Mario latched onto her, giggling. This lack of restraint peculiar to youth was very much like Mario. However, we really should be concerned for Erika's physical condition now. Mario, why don't you play cards with us? Erika and A-chan is tired. I like cards too. Please, let me join you after I've had a short break. Ooh, alright. She's joining you for cards whether you like it or not. Who is that? As she passed through the lobby of the entrance hall, Erika stopped walking. When we saw what she was looking at, the rest of us also stopped. Oh, that's the Golden Witch Beatrice. Oh, were you not here when Erika got introduced? She fell off a passing cruise ship, nearly drowned, and drifted to the island, and has been given Jessica's old clothes, and is now a guest for the duration of the conference. That's pretty much all so far. She seems to be a smart, friendly young girl. Oh, just here. Cats? That's a weird sound. Oh, that is the Golden Witch, Beatrice Summer. Golden Witch. What are you doing, brats? Go on and head back to the guest house. Dad, Kiria-san, Aunt Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi, and Aunt Rose all came over. The entire guest house party had gathered. However, Erika's gaze was captured by the portrait of the witch, and she simply stared at it for a while, before looking at the epitaph and instantly solving it. What a genius. Yeah, supposedly Dad has a stash of hidden gold worth 20 billion yen, and this epitaph shows you where that gold's hidden. Perhaps it was too early for them all to disperse into their individual rooms, because the relatives who had returned to the guest house all gathered on the first floor, continuing their chat. The topic was the witch's epitaph, which Erika had taken an interest in. It really is a fascinating riddle. He stuck it out in a place where anyone could see it, challenging our intelligence. I love that kind of challenge. Whoa, you seem surprisingly interested, Erika-chan. You like solving riddles or something? Don't challenges like this seem interesting? It seems pretty clear that Kinzo-san wants to use the epitaph to choose his successor. When she said that, the adult stopped moving, and slowly turned to face Erika. Why do you think that? Aunt Eva spoke with a coaxing voice, though every now and then there had been whisperings among the relatives that whoever solved the epitaph's riddle might be given the family inheritance. This had been no more than wishful thinking, since such a thing had never been specifically stated. And yet, though she'd only read it once, this outsider had already reached that conclusion. How would she come to it? No, that's not the problem. If you solve the epitaph, you can become the next head. She wasn't trying to make it sound like wishful thinking, but an outright fact. So they closed in around Erika, asking why she was so sure. It's fairly common for an extremely rich person to relinquish his or her wealth to the solver of some sort of riddle. Furthermore, Kinzo-san didn't publish this epitaph in a newspaper, but displayed it in his mansion. That means the riddle is directed at the people in this mansion. You're right. Since it's inside the mansion, there is no way for someone who can't enter the mansion to solve it. So that means Grandfather's been challenging the people here. Get on it, Dr. Nanja. Good though. Saying good in English is unironically kind of a catchphrase. Good though. Well thought. Just by the simple fact that the epitaph's inside the mansion, it's possible to figure out that much. At first, this Fujita Erika girl seemed to be the fairly silent type, but that apparently wasn't the case. As she grew excited by a challenge to a game of wits, she became much more talkative than I'd imagined. I see. Well, it does make sense that an epitaph inside a mansion would be there so the people in that mansion could read it. But can you really be so sure that the one who solves it will be given the headship too? If the treasure gained by solving the riddle were something small, I wouldn't even have considered that. That's right. Hidden gold is worth 20 billion. You might consider that gold itself to be the wealth of the Ushimura family. Inheriting something like that would be almost the same as inheriting the Ushimura family itself. In other words, this riddle of the gold's hiding place buried within the epitaph is nothing less than a way of selecting the de facto successor of the Ushimura family. The idea that the one who solved the epitaph would be chosen as the successor had been passed around by some other relatives for a while now. Okay. However, since it had never been specifically announced, it was nothing more than an optimistic dream. Thinking this, they decided to abandon all consideration of this point until the details were made clear. Erica had clearly declared that this uncertain point was in fact true. If one of the relatives had said it, people would have thought it to be merely an optimistic dream. Yeah, you can roll, bunny. Don't worry. However, when this was declared by a complete outsider, those words seemed even more credible. Everyone remained silent for a while, slowly considering what those words implied. Simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erica. What do you think, everyone? Sorry to butt in, but my dad's the successor. Finding the gold would be one thing. But that doesn't mean you get to be the head, right? She did in fact say it. Jessica thought the treasure hunting part of the epitaph was really fun. However, she couldn't help but let her expression grow bitter once they started talking about undermining her father's position. By using deductive reasoning based upon my theory, it seems likely that Kinzo-san doesn't want the successor, Kraft-san, to inherit the position too smoothly. But why's that? Becoming the head of the Ushimura family, with all the vast wealth it entails, would mean gaining a great deal of influence in a political sense. So under normal circumstances, the succession should be overseen rigorously, without letting any element of chance creep into the equation. That's right. It happens a lot in those stories about Sengoku military commanders that my husband loves. When there are multiple candidates for the successor, it usually results in an internal squabble. That's right. That's why it's important to clearly specify a successor, so you can avoid any trouble. Sometimes there's even a purge of all the competing successors. The Sengoku commander Hideyoshi admired, until Toyotomi Hideyoshi made his son-in-law Hidetsugu commit seppuku, but it was rumored that he might have done this to make Hideyori, who was his real son born after Hidetsugu, his true heir. In other words, naming a successor was a way to make it generally known that a single unique person would be acknowledged by everyone, and a way to remove any chance of another person becoming an opposing candidate. Good though. That's exactly right. The only purpose for an epitaph like that would be to cast doubt on Kraus-san's position as the successor. In other words, if Kinzo wanted Kraus-san to become the head smoothly, he'd have no reason to go out of his way and display something so dangerous for all to see. I don't know how she says it in the dub. You said the dub only covered the first twilight of, the first case. Why is Erica in the Gold Edition dub at all? The Japanese dub? I am good though. Doesn't she say it in, like, Japanese? Am I remembering wrong? It's been a while since I've, like... I mean... I've definitely heard some of the lines before, but, like, I'm not super familiar with them. I don't think I've ever done, like, a full playthrough with the voices on. I think it mostly just read before. That's right. If you spin the chessboard around, you could certainly say that. It would be odd if he handed over the position of the head normally. Sounds like a squeaky rat. Good. Speaking of squeaky rats here. But only handed over the 20 billion yen in gold to the person who solves the riddle. Squeaky rat. Oh, you're so good though. What a good dog out there. Kinzo would pass on the title of family head, but he would only give up the 20 billion yen in gold to the person who solved the epitaph. He really couldn't call this passing on the headship in the truest sense. That's how it is. By this theory, we are able to doubt whether Kinzo-san truly acknowledged Kraus-san as its successor, simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place. This level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erica. What do you think, Jessica-san? Well, what the hell? How do you call that reasoning? That's bullshit. It's screwed up. Jessica let her emotions lay bare and glared at Erica. Erica, on the other hand, looked exceedingly calm with an expression that said, "Well, that's just the truth, right?" I see. It looks like table manners aren't the only way this girl is fitting leadership in a family. It seems she really does match the family, even when it'd be better if she didn't. She had seeds of them. Okay, take it easy, Jessica. And Erica, let's leave it at that for now. Well, we can put all the successor stuff to the side for now. Anyway, there's no doubt that it's father's big question for us. Haha. 20 billion yen? Moya-chan, what'd you use it for if you found it? Wahaha. Ooh. The Golden Land is... Hey, don't mess with stuff. Yeah, I believe it's katakana. I believe it's just Erika. I want to say that's the case. I think it showed it earlier. Yep. Fururo Erika. It's literally just Erika. And it's supposed to be a one word. So you're probably just supposed to say like Erika. Oh, the boat she was on was the Eternal Maid the Second, apparently. Show it off in English. Eternal Maid the Second, mid-cruise, yada yada yada. Oh, look, you can see her tights here that we can't see. Ooh, the Golden Land isn't just gold. It's a sacred place. Uncle Hideyoshi kept trying to force himself to chuckle and improve the mood. Everyone else tried to play along, but Jessica's mood didn't get any better. So, Erika-chan, would you like to have a go at the epitaph's riddle? George, you don't know the can of worms you've just opened. You're trying to help, but you're making it way worse. My little gray cells are itching to get started. I'd like to start solving as soon as possible. George Anarchy smoothly turned the conversation around. Sniff zipped out. MatPat does not feel comfortable watching what's about to happen. He's looking away. Just like the time she'd made everyone laugh in the dining hall, Eric looked about with gleeful eyes and jumped at the chance. I like it. Well, since Erica seems so interested, let's all try and solve it together, just like last year. I'll make some coffee. Raise your hand if you want some. Not for you, Mario. You won't be able to sleep. Ooh, I want to drink black coffee. You really don't, child. You really don't. Don't they get you excited, riddles like this? I love them. Erica said that and smiled. Though she must have known that she'd ticked Jessica off and made the atmosphere sour, she just smiled nonchalantly. No, I don't drink black coffee. Not my kind of thing at all. Oh, coffee. Coffee can. See? I can't drink coffee black. My mom does? Not for me though. I haven't tried it in a long time, granted, but, nope. I've put in quite a bit of sugar and creamer and stuff. Recently. See, without even waiting for the crime on October 5th, there's a riddle you can solve. I've tried to solve it many times myself. Oh, so much hair on the desk, Avery. What are you doing? I've tried to solve it many times myself, but you didn't have a clue, so you gave up and stopped thinking. Right. It pissed me off, but I don't have a good counter for that. After all, I don't get the epitaph at all. I don't even know what the beloved hometown means, much less the parts about the Sweetfish River and the key. Thinking that a few more hints would show up if I waited, I kept on waiting and just stopped thinking. I've talked briefly about the epitaph. You can't solve it without knowledge of Japanese, so get fucked up this. And you need more knowledge than just that too. It is not something anyone can just solve. But there is a reason it's like that. Have you figured out an answer of your own? Because I'm about to solve it. What? This is where Burns solved the riddle of the epitaph. Remember, they're recapping this for Battle right now. All this has already happened. In reality, the story has actually already proceeded to the point where the first Twilights happened. We already know who the victims are. It was some of the cousins and some of the servants, and... it was Dr. Nando too? I don't remember. We'll get there when we get there. Anyway. I'd expect no less from the Witch of Miracles. If a riddle is solvable, she can solve it without fail, regardless of the difficulty. She asked ChatGPT, how many years did it take to solve this one? That's rude. I only fished through a few hundred fragments. You really are terrifying. You don't want to cheat by suddenly saying the answer in red or something like that, right? That's not cheating, that means you know it. We discussed this. Weren't you listening? Don't worry. Just like you, I follow the rules as a player. Well, shall we begin? It's cramped here. Why don't we have a talk over the sea? Okay. Don't get queasy, Battler. What do you mean, the sea? I thought the whole world had turned pitch black. In the next moment, I was struck by a strange floating sensation. This must be what it feels like to suddenly have the floor drop from under you, send you into a bottomless pit. Is this actually where they show off the entire solution? I feel like that doesn't come till later, but I guess we'll see. Let's just save just in case. I don't know why. Anything in the tips menu? Absolutely nothing. When I looked, I saw that the two witches and I had been thrown into a pitch-black universe. In this space, every direction was covered in an endless darkness, and it felt like a limitless expanse filled with countless glittering objects. Oh, it's the Sea of Fragments. Some people might have likened it to the depths of an ocean where innumerable sparkling fragments drifted. The first time we've been in the same location that existed in Higurashi before. Whoa. Whoa! Didn't she tell you not to get queasy? If you want the concept of gravity, just create it yourself, okay? Come on, calm down and look at us. Come on, don't we look like we're just fine? Believe that your feet are on the ground and you'll be controlled by gravity. If you do that, you'll find your equilibrium. Yes, the two witches are standing normally, as if their feet were planted on transparent pieces of glass. I'm the only one floating around like someone in a rapidly plummeting elevator. When I saw that they were doing just fine, I started calming down, figuring that there was no need to be scared. Then, just as Lambda Delta said, I gritted my teeth and kept telling myself that there was a place to stand here, and that I had to stay calm. But whoa. Very good, very good. What's your name? Yoshida the Battler? What else do I look like? Okay. You mustn't lose your will, emotions, or form. After all, this is the ocean. If you lose your purpose, you'll fall into the depths of eternity and become a scrap of ocean seaweed. Be careful. I don't get what Lambda Delta's saying, but I should calm down for the time being. Seems that I regain my equilibrium the more I calm down. Gradually, that weird floating feeling, like I was falling forever, began to disappear. Wet my lips here. Oh no, I'm almost out of water. Okay, that's too dry. It still felt strange, like trying to stand up straight at the bottom of a deep pool, but it was much better than before. Man, I want to go swimming. I love swimming. I miss pools. And let's begin. I'll weep together some fragments for solving the riddle of the epitaph. Brinka still opened both of her hands. Then, like a planetarium, all the fragments throughout this empty space began to spin, leaving tails behind them. The expression planetarium might have been surprisingly fitting. Multiple fragments were tied together by gold lines, and it looked like constellations zoomed by us rapidly one after another. It felt almost as though we were dashing through space at an incredible speed. Then, with tails of light drifting behind them, several brightly glowing fragments swirled around Brinka. They looked almost like she'd created her own solar system with her as the sun. The solar system surrounding Brinka grew to a radius large enough to swallow us up. And every once in a while, one of those satellite fragments zoomed right past me. It's just stuff from the past we're seeing. When those fragments passed by me, I don't think you can scroll back and see it, yeah. It felt as though some kind of memory rolled up inside me, so I sensed it. These fragments are probably like a crystallization of memories. They aren't memories, they're fragments of worlds. Well, I guess they might feel like memories to you. Then let's begin. Let's start with this fragment. One of the satellites in the solar system was slowly sucked into an inward trajectory with Brinka at the center. After drawing a spiral and approaching her, it settled down on the palm of Brinka's outstretched hand. Then it glittered brightly, painting over the world with pure white. So we're gonna go back to Ava. From episode 3, trying to solve it. The beloved hometown definitely won't betray our expectations. The only past father held dear happened during his childhood years. I remember that. This is from the third game when Aunt Ava was just about to solve the riddle of the epitaph, and was thinking it over with this witch inside her or whatever. That's right. And from these thoughts, she made her way to the correct answer. In other words, this fragment shows a vital hint for reaching the truth. It means that this theory is not mistaken. So you're saying we should assume this beloved hometown isn't a metaphor or anything like that, but the place grandfather actually spent his youth? That's right. And at the very least, it isn't Odawara. Odawara is definitely where he was born, but I don't think that's the hometown he loved. I imagine all of us siblings have the same place in mind. Right. This probably isn't Odawara. From what I've heard, he had a very fun time as a youth. I guess Odawara means no fun? That's right. Anteiva and her siblings said it wasn't Odawara. Not only that, it looks like everyone guessed where grandfather's hometown was. Right. And annoyingly, the actual location isn't spoken of in any of the fragments. Well, duh. If I told you that, there'd be too many hints. If it wasn't a hard riddle, there'd be no point to it. Uh-oh. That's a hint, too. Just where is this hometown of grandfather's? We can't even start if we don't know that. You mean you couldn't start, so you stopped thinking? Since it had to be a place where you could have lived, the number of possibilities is limited. Well, this is the toughest part. You were the witch who could certainly solve any riddle that could be solved, weren't you? So you took these limited possibilities, in other words, everyone on the Earth, and considered every single piece of land that grandfather might have lived on? That would work too, but that way, no amount of time would be enough. So I needed to take some more hints into consideration to bring out the answer. Didn't you say it yourself? You said it didn't have to be a river with water flowing down it. If the word sweet fish is too complicated, why not forget it? Think of a river. A river. Linking it with a family tree wasn't a bad idea. Try thinking about how to link a river with something else along those lines. A sweet fish river running through the hometown. However, this river isn't truly a river. I ever thought of something else, something that could be linked with a river. Sure, but if it isn't a river, then why the sweet fish? Think. A river that runs through the hometown. But it isn't a river with water running down it. Something that can be likened to a river. Hail the Sweetfish River running through the beloved hometown. Ava knew where the hometown was, so she could forget about the Sweetfish hint. However, since we don't know where it is, this could be a hint for us. I worried too much about the Sweetfish River. The Sweetfish part didn't really matter that much at all, did it? That isn't true. It was an excellent hint, wasn't it? Well, of course, maybe there was no need for it to be Sweetfish. What are these Sweetfish? If the river isn't a little river, then of course, Sweetfish probably doesn't mean the kind of fish that swims. Yeah. And on top of that, Rosa tossed it aside, saying that Sweetfish weren't that significant. On the other hand, Ava said it wasn't important for them to be Sweetfish, but that it was still an excellent hint. In other words, the Sweetfish is a key to make you think of something else. If that something is a different word, but a word that Sweetfish makes you think of, then Ava's line about how it probably didn't have to be Sweetfish makes sense. From these thoughts, Aunt Ava formed some theory, went to the library, looked through some books, and verified that she was right. In short, Aunt Ava formed some theory about the true nature of the Sweetfish River running through her hometown. Then she opened a certain book to determine whether that theory was correct or not. In other words, this theory was something that could be verified through some kind of book. Also, after she figured out what the Sweetfish River was, she figured out the rest of the riddle very quickly. Good thinking. The epitaph continues on, saying, as you travel down the river, you'll see a village. At that point, Ava hadn't yet solved the 3 lies starting with this one. What is this village? What does it mean? What is the significance of Mr. Bean? Do you find one if you go down the river? Right before my eyes, the pieces I hadn't been able to understand at all began to snap into place all by themselves. I couldn't even remember to close my open mouth. My throat grew completely dry. Is it really okay for this to be the answer? Really? Really? So, if we figure out what the Sweetfish River running through the hometown is, that leads us directly to understanding the as you travel down the river, you'll see a village stuff, and then we get the key to the Golden Land. Correct. And we know that because even Ava didn't know what the village meant until she checked the book. Damn. What is this book? But this isn't 6 characters at all. I'm absolutely sure this is the answer, but this doesn't reach 6 characters at all. Did you stop thinking again? In that case, think of a way you could read it with 6 characters. If you can't think of one, then research it. There has to be an answer. You must not doubt that. Oh, is believing that too much for you? If only you just cry yourself to sleep and then you could just give up and die. I forgot everything was got dark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, 6 characters. I found it. This is the key to the Golden Land. Then Ava found the key to the Golden Land. Yeah, and this key was some kind of word number or string of characters, 6 characters long. That's it. If we know the key's true identity is 6 characters, the meaning of the first Twilight changes drastically. On the first Twilight, all of the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. 6 chosen by the key. 6 characters. In other words, it means to sacrifice the 6 characters chosen by the key on the first Twilight. This key indicates a certain group of 6 people. No, we should say it indicates a certain group of 6 things. If this doesn't mean a literal command to offer sacrifices, I have hair in my mouth. Okay, I got it. Hats, I swear. For example, it could be an anagram. An anagram? Do you mean playing with letters? Gus does not know what an anagram is. Yes, Kiryu-san has been thinking that way ever since that moment. On the second Twilight, there are those who remain, which means that, at the very least, that something has a limited number of characters. You could read it like it's telling you to continue with the remaining characters after the first 6 characters are removed. In other words, on the first Twilight, we take a list of characters that's longer than 6, kill the 6 that are the key, and then do something with the characters that remain. That's right. But like Kitty has said, what should we kill the characters from? We don't know this longer string of characters that we're supposed to be killing from. On the first Twilight, kill the 6 characters that are the key. On the first Twilight. In other words, by the time we reach the first Twilight, some string of characters already exists. That might be a set of Japanese characters, but knowing grandfather's tastes, could it be something in English? The first Twilight has more than 6 characters, even though the Japanese phrase has just 4. Dai Chinoban. Good though. That idea of yours isn't bad, Bauer-san. We could interpret the 6 sacrifices chosen by the key as a string of 6 characters. I think it's a very clever concept. That way, the key doesn't necessarily have to be key-shaped. I would also consider the possibility that's an anagram. Come to think of it, you did say something like that before. But in that case, what do we take the 6 characters out from? That's right. Since we're taking 6 characters out, it must be at least 6 characters long. We need to read Daichi no Ban in some way that gives it more than 6 characters. If we follow Father's sensibilities, I guess it probably is English after all. If it looks like we're getting stuck, why don't we move on to the second Twilight and look for hints. Those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. We can probably think of those who remain as the remaining characters after the first 6 have been taken out. In that case, what does it mean by 2 characters that are close? I see. I get it, so that's what this is about. For example, let's take the following list of 9 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then let's say that the 6 characters offered as sacrifices are 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. In this case, we erase the aforementioned 6 characters and get 2, 4, 5. So 2, 4, and 5 are left. So what? Oh, 4 and 5 are close. Yeah, I get it. So the 2 who are close are 2, 4, 5. Yep. There's a gap between 2 and 4, but 4 and 5 are right next to each other. They're the 2 who are close. Good though. Well done, Bowler-san. We can't tell whether tear apart means to crush 4 and 5 or to put a gap between them, but I think that's a good observation. And then what do you think about the third Twilight? Those who remain shall praise my noble name. Since there's a good chance that we're playing with letters, this might be the same thing. The characters that remain shall praise my noble name. That's tough. What do you mean? Does anyone know? I think I do. Huh? What is it? Tell me. Is this also an anagram? Once again, good though. Butler-san, you're a pretty flexible thinker. By anagram, you mean playing with letters, right? He doesn't know either. That means... In other words, maybe you can make some kind of word by changing the order of the remaining letters. Yeah. If so, I might be getting ahead of myself with this theory, but maybe the original list of the characters that the rest Twilight's removed from is 11 characters long. Well, then again, I reached the same conclusion. But why's that? Why do you think there are 11 characters? We think killing a single sacrifice means crushing a single character. If we interpret the tear part of the second Twilight to mean adding a gap between 2 characters, then there are 11 characters total. If tear apart means to crush those two characters, then we can assume that there are 13 characters. After all, from the 4th Twilight to the 8th Twilight, the word kill appears 5 times. And then on the 9th Twilight, it's written that none will be left alive. If we ignore the part about the witch reviving for now, I figure that after crushing the first 6, separating the characters that are close, and then crushing 5 more of them, there should be no characters left. So it makes 6 plus 5, or 11 characters. If tearing apart the two who are close in the 2nd Twilight means to kill both of them, then that makes 6 plus 2 plus 5, or 13 characters. So one or the other. There's a chance that the word symbolizing the first Twilight has 11 or 13 characters. Wait, it couldn't be that easy, could it? When I played on, that's the exact same theory I thought of. Looks like you were gifted with excellent old gray cells just like me, Valor-san. Hey, quit it. Just doing what comes naturally. Hey, what the hell? The piece of me is pretty damn smart. There's no room left for me to make theories. Oh, sorry about that. You weren't around at this point, so I just controlled your piece for you. Isn't it nice how smart I made you look? You look smarter when Baron's playing you. Why not step down as the player and concentrate on being a piece instead? I joined in on this game partway through, well after the first murders occurred on October 5th. That means the piece called me was controlled by the player, Baron Castell. So I guess that means it's possible for Baron Castell's reasoning to be announced through my mouth. The game I'm watching now is nothing more than a replay of the part that's already ended. However, that's probably good enough for now. After all, this Baron Castell-sama is going out of her way to solve the epitaph for me. I'll watch closely for now. And I'll try to find out what it means. I have the devil to let it slip herself just a second ago. Well, duh. If I told you that, there'd be too many hints. If it wasn't a hard riddle, there'd be no point to it. Uh-oh, that's a hint too. This theory about grandfather creating the epitaph in order to choose a successor isn't bad at all. I regard Baron Castell's logic is extremely reasonable. But that's only if we assume grandfather was the one to create it. He was probably alive at the time the epitaph was displayed, but of course, grandfather was already dead by 1986. And in the games up until now, Beatrice threatened us repeatedly with letters, saying that the only way to survive was to solve the epitaph, and trying to force us to solve the riddle. In other words, it was Beatrice's intention, her hope, that we would try solving the riddle of the epitaph. The epitaph's so confusing that, in most cases, the relatives never seriously tried solving until the threatening letters started to arrive. That's why Beatrice fired the starting pistol that made us take a go at it. Why is Beatrice carrying out grandfather's will after his death? Like the theory proposed in the first game, is Beatrice really grandfather's confidant, who's following his orders even after his death, and trying to select the successor or the riddle of the epitaph in grandfather's stead? If she did that, it would mean Beatrice really was Kinzo's trusted underling, the family alchemist she claimed to be in that letter. After grandfather's death, Beatrice managed the 10 tons of gold and took the title of alchemist. She was entrusted with the epitaph's riddle, and without ever embezzling the gold, she waited for a human fitting to be the successor to appear and solve it. And if that human didn't appear within a set time, would that be game over? Certainly not Eva, who solved the riddle in the third game, became the only survivor, and automatically, the final head of the Yoshimura family, inheriting everything. Up until now, no one has ever survived past October 5th except Aunt Eva, the one who solved the epitaph. That was the only case where Beatrice let anyone survive. Is Beatrice's loyalty to grandfather the thing that drove her? Was she so loyal that she faithfully carried out some terrible order to kill everyone if the epitaph wasn't solved? I must not stop thinking. Don't stop thinking. Don't just think of the riddle itself. Think about why it's significant. Why is Beatrice telling us to solve the epitaph? Why is she making us solve such a confusing epitaph? If Beatrice makes us try and solve this epitaph we have no real chance of solving, and by some lucky chance a miracle occurs and someone's able to solve it, what significance would that have to her? I don't know what such a miracle would be worth to Beato. It's a good question. Anyway, until we figure out the first Twilight, we'll have to give up on the rest. We tried looking at it from several different angles, but in the end, we got stuck there and made no further advances. Yawn. Mario let out an extra large yawn. This caused several other people to yawn. We'd been using our heads so much that everyone got a little sleepy. Jessica, who'd been silent and irritated the whole time, quickly stood up. I'm going upstairs with Mario. Watch TV or something. Okay, I'll go up too. Hey, why don't we all play cards upstairs? When George proposed this, Mario completely forgot about that big yawn of hers and started jumping around. insisting that she wanted to play cards. According to the clock, it was already 10 at night. It was already about the time you'd normally take a bath and get ready for sleep. Even the adults seemed pretty weary from traveling. We decided to continue this later and went our separate ways. Will you play cards with us too, Erika-chan? I appreciate the sentiment. I overstepped my bounds a little, treating them a simple guest. I'd like to take it easy and rest for the night. I almost forgot I was recently in an accident. Seriously, in such high spirits, it's hard to believe you almost drowned. That's youth for you. Still, I enjoyed it. I think we've taken a big step in our reasoning thanks to you. If I find the gold, I'll let you have about 1,000,000 yen worth. Ahaha. Can't you at least offer the poor girl 100 million? Ahaha. No need to bother. I'm only interested in solving the riddle. Well then, if you'll excuse me. Good night. Yeah, we literally had like all the characters in one room. Can't have any murders happen then. Yeah, night. Oh, you aren't going upstairs, Battlecon? I'm getting a bit interested. I'll think things through here just a bit longer. If I could just figure out the list of characters that marks the first twilight, I bet the road before me will open up all at once. Everyone went up to the second floor one by one. Only Aunt Rosa remained behind, cleaning up the coffee cups everyone had been drinking out of. Hideous and some others had offered to help, but Rosa had refused and was washing them all alone. Erika does kind of act like a self-insert. She is kind of a Mary Sue, a little bit. Don't worry, there's a lot more to her than that. And to be fair, she is literally a self-insert. I guess Brinkastil's not the author here, but still. She's the reader's self-insert, if you want to try to tackle that concept. Since I'd just been treated to such delicious coffee, I decided to help too. I wasn't just doing it because I felt obligated. I wanted to keep discussing the epitaph with someone. First twilight, the first twilight. Aunt Rosa, have you thought of some list of characters or a word? No, I don't have a clue. But instead of the first twilight, it's the 10th twilight that bugs me. The 10th twilight? What about it? Well, at the end here it says you'll receive the Golden Land's 4 treasures once and for the last time, right? Yeah, it does. Why mention that you're reaching the Golden Land just once, and then say it's for the last time? It's almost as though he's repeating the same thing twice. I've just been wondering whether he had some reason for putting it like that. You're right. Like you said, there's gotta be a more straightforward way of saying that. That line should have been a key part of the riddle, where you wouldn't expect the writer to waste words needlessly. Could it have been done for some special purpose? Still, you and the Erika-chan girl are incredible. Your minds really are flexible. I'm already an old lady, and my brain just doesn't work that fast. The theory about the 6 chosen by the key, signifying 6 characters to be removed, was very impressive. After hearing that, I can't see it as being any other way. But before then, I didn't think it was like that at all. I'm feeling let down by my own dull mind. That's not true. You've got a flexible mind yourself, Aunt Rosa. This last time thing might be really important somewhere down the line. Not at all. My mind is very stiff. Up until now, I've always thought that this first twilight was nothing more than a place 1/10 of the way on a road to the Golden Land. What's that? Sounds interesting. Mind telling me about it? No. After all, in the line before the first twilight, it says you must travel to the Golden Land, right? And this part describes a journey that lasts 10 days, so I thought the first twilight would be part of the way through that journey. A journey. I see. Then the journey begins, and when you set up camp at the first twilight, you offer these 6 as sacrifices. So where would that place be? How many kilometers from the starting point? Please don't tell anyone about your aunt's silly ideas, okay? When I first saw that point about attaining to the treasures of the Golden Land, I just assumed it was more of the same. Typically, attaining treasures would mean obtaining them, but I thought it meant reaching or arriving at some place. Some place 10 days away from Father's hometown where all these treasures might be found. You're kidding? That's a brilliant idea. The first twilight's the first stop on that 10-day journey. The name of that place might be the key to moving forward. My 10-day theory to work, you'd have to know both the start point and the end point. I know the start point. I know the hometown Father loved. The place Father spent his time when he was a boy really is far away. But the problem is the goal, the Golden Land. What does that really mean? If we don't know that, my theory gets us nowhere. I've been stuck at this spot for a long time, but after listening to your reasoning today, I realized what an embarrassing mistake I've been making. No, I think that's still an interesting idea. A start and a goal, a 10-day journey. And the place reached the very first twilight. Believe it or not, I think you might solve this one easily, Battlecon. If you do solve it with your aunt's hint, share some with me. Even 5% would be great. It's a promise. Despite being my aunt, she gave me a smile and a wink which would have made a man's heart jump. As I helped her wash the coffee cups, I kept pondering the epitaph's riddle in silence. And I'm not going to explain any of this. can give this to us right now. But we essentially get big hands for the epitaph. But again, don't bother. Don't bother. You're not really supposed to be able to solve it very easily, especially not if you're a hoarder. I don't actually remember half the details myself. I remember bits and pieces, but once it comes time for the game to explain it, I'll help, like, supplement it with my own explanation. After I finished helping out Rosa, I passed through the corridor on my way to the bathroom, and saw Erica unlocking the door to a room on my path. I thought your room was on the second floor. She should just call the Umineko hotline, really. Figured you'd gone upstairs and had fallen asleep by now. I was just searching for something. I thought it might be here. Searching for something. What you looking for? Erica unlocked the door and opened it. A dusty smell drifted out. It was the library. For a library, the gaps between bookshelves were extremely small. This is obviously built for storing books, not reading them. So it's a book you're searching for. Not necessarily a book, but materials, I guess you could say. There's something I've just got to look up. You're looking for something to do with the epitaph's riddle? Pretty impressive that you haven't given up yet. Is the 20 billion yen that enticing? I haven't given up either. Apparently being stubborn is something we both share. Of course not. I'm only interested in solving puzzles. I search for the gold only to prove my reasoning correct. Even if I found it, I wouldn't pocket it for myself, so have no fears on that score. She immediately cast my comment aside, saying that she just likes solving riddles and had no interest at all in the gold. I thought she was pretty weird from the start, and it looks like that impression was spot on. Erica slowly circled the bookshelves, searching for the book she was after. I'm also trying to solve the epitaph right now. Oh yeah, just a second ago, I had something interesting from Aunt Rosa, which might give us a hint about the first Twilight. Let me hear it. Erica asked this without stopping her search, or even turning to face me. God. I'm gonna wrap up in a few. I hope the epitaph stuff is done by then. In the line before the first Twilight, it says that one who obtains the key must do so-and-so. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. Whoa, you already got it memorized? Guess I shouldn't be so surprised. And what about that? Yeah, you've got to travel to the Golden Land, right? Apparently this made Aunt Rosa think about the 10th Twilight. In other words, going on a 10-day journey from the beloved hometown to the Golden Land. Actually, I'd already noticed that myself. You start from the place reached on the first day of the 10-day journey. That's where you take the sacrifices from. Yeah, that's what Aunt Rosa thought of too. I think the theory is pretty intriguing. We're looking for the place you'd reach on the first day of a 10-day journey. That bit of land, or else the name of that region, might be a key. I also guess that the place's name might be a key. That's why I'm looking for materials. I want to turn my guess into certainty. Just what are you looking for? Then Erica's hand suddenly stopped, and she slowly pulled it out. As she dusted it off, she finally looked at me and spoke. It's an atlas. It's a map. Of my eyes! And I think it's probably going to cut all the epitaph stuff there. Even if it doesn't, that's still a good wrapping up point. Oh, was Umineko sold before Steam was a thing? I know it was sold physically. Past that I'm actually not sure. I don't know if it was sold digitally at all. Is it on like DL site or anything? I actually don't know. Looks like maybe... Search in Japanese. Let's see. Is the manga on Amazon? Yeah, you can get the manga on Kindle, for all that matters. That's not quite it, though. think you had to get a physical copy back in the day, actually. Hmm. By the looks of it, yeah. Nowadays, you could get, like, a used one off of, Surugya or something, it seems. I think. I think actually what this result is the manga, maybe? Oh, I forgot that... Wait, what is this? Oh, this is, music album or something? I'm not sure, it's got goofy looking art, though. Soundtrack, portal version... You can buy the entire second half of the manga for $170 off Surugaya. I should tell you now, it's a lot cheaper than it is in English. Didn't get much of a print in English, from what I understand. Okay, alright. Like I said though, I'm gonna wrap up there. Bit short, I know, 2.5 hours. I keep on putting other game in the notification, but only doing one thing. I want to head off and do a bit more work, I think, on some stuff. Oh, Erica has an entry now. Can't use magic, yada yada yada, detectives, authority. She has 2 pages. Is she the only one that's 2 pages? Yes, I believe so, that's weird. Okay, I don't know why that's a thing. Strange. Oh, she's also over here too. You gotta keep in mind, she's, well actually no, so far she's not a meta character at all. I don't really know why she has to be over here, but... Oh well, video games, am I right?